Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. I'll just step in and see.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Could you first please state and spell your first and last name for us?
My name is Douglas Gudakunst. That's Douglas. Gudakunst, GudakUnst.
And can you tell us how you are currently employed?
I'm a fingerprint specialist with the Fairfax County Police Department.
And are you assigned to any specific division within the police department?
Yes, our section is referred to as the Novaris.
Is Novaris an acronym?
Yes, it stands for the Northern Virginia Regional Identification System.
And how long have you been a fingerprint examiner for Novaris?
It will be 8 years in February.
And has that entire period been within the employment of the Fairfax County Police Department at Novaris?
Yes.
And you examine more than fingerprints, correct?
Also palm prints.
And what are the duties of a fingerprint examiner?
We are tasked with comparing fingerprints to known samples and known samples to known samples. So to sort of decide and make decisions whether or not the two fingerprints we're looking at originated from the same finger or palm.
And can you tell us about the training that you've received in the area of fingerprint examination and identification?
I have an undergraduate in forensic science from Mercyhurst University and a graduate degree from George Mason University in the same, as well as a large number of industry-specific training courses.
And during your career, can you estimate the number of fingerprint examinations and identifications that you have engaged in?
It's not something that we track. It is easily in the hundreds of thousands.
Are you a member of any professional organizations?
I am a member of the International Association for Identification.
And have you testified previously in court?
Yes, I have.
How many times?
7, I believe, maybe 8.
And any of those times in Fairfax County?
All of them.
Have you previously been qualified as an expert in any court in Virginia in the area of friction ridge examination and comparison, also known as fingerprint examination and comparison?
Yes, I have.
How many times?
7 or 8.
And at this point, Judge, I'd move to admit Mr. Gudakunst as an expert in the area of friction ridge examination and comparison, which is also known as fingerprint identification and examination.
All right, any objection? You want to void your? All right, no objection, so moved. Thank you.
Can you describe for us what a latent print is?
A latent print is a reproduction of the ridges found on the surfaces of our hands, and also our feet, but primarily our hands. When you touch an item, you leave that reproduction behind, but it's not readily visible. That's why it is latent. It needs to be processed in some way to be made readily visible.
And what does a fingerprint examiner do with a latent fingerprint?
In our office, we receive them already processed. We don't do the processing ourselves. So we receive latent fingerprint evidence from the police department. We assess them for quality. We can search them through different databases that we have access to of known fingerprints, and we can compare those fingerprints to the response list that we get, as well as compare them directly to requested subjects.
And are there any complexities in working with latent prints?
Yes, they can be very complex. They are not all automatically very good quality latent prints. When you touch something, it doesn't necessarily leave a latent print. It may. That latent print can be very small, very fragmented, very low quality, unable to visualize clearly, and different processing methods can also degrade those qualities and make them less helpful or useful.
And are there different levels of details to a fingerprint?
Yes, we classify the levels of detail that we look at in a tiered system 1, 2, and 3 in smaller and smaller granularity. Level 1 detail is an overall flow of the ridges, the pattern type. Level 2 detail is going to be independent ridge path, where we watch one particular ridge and we can see it doing a thing, either stopping or splitting. And then level 3 is going to be those even smaller than that. This ridge has a pore here, or is thick, or is thin, or different characteristics on the very edge of the ridge. Those are level 3 detail.
And can you tell us what a known fingerprint is?
A known fingerprint is an intentionally recorded reproduction of the friction ridge skin on the hands, or sometimes the feet, that is taken intentionally and under controlled circumstances with traditionally ink. Modern days, most of them are done electronically, but still ink is occasionally used, where ink is applied to the hand, and then the hand is touched to the contrasting paper or the scanner with no ink. And then those are kept as a known sample of the friction ridge skin of that person.
And what do you do when you compare latent prints to known prints?
We have a process that we call ACE-V. So when we get a latent print, the first thing we do is assess or analyze that single print in isolation. Is it a fingerprint? Which way is towards the tip of the finger? What is the pattern type? How is it processed? How much detail do I see? And at that point, we usually make a decision. This is of value for comparison, or this is not of value of comparison, or it may be a limited value for comparison. Once we've assessed that print and analyzed it, we then do a side-by-side comparison. That is the C in the ACE-V, where we look for similarities and differences. We note how similar or how different the spatial relationship between this branch of a ridge is 3 ridges away from that branch of a ridge, and they're all working as a constellation together. After we've completed our comparison side by side, we weigh the information that we've discovered in that whole process. We evaluate it, the E in ACE-V, and we make a decision. Those decisions are 3 types: either an identification, and that the 2 fingerprints did originate from the same source; an exclusion, where those 2 fingerprints did not originate from the same source; or an inconclusive, where we aren't able to make either of those determinations for many reasons. Then that process, those cases are given to another qualified fingerprint examiner who verifies it, the V, which is the same process that is ACE. So it's really ACE-ACE with 2 different people, so ACE-V.
And in this case, did you receive latent prints during the investigation?
Yes, I did.
How many of those latent prints were suitable for comparison?
In the initial submission, there was multiple versions of a single latent print that were suitable for comparison.
And in this case, did you obtain known prints?
Yes, I did.
How many sets of known prints did you obtain?
I obtained 4 sets of known prints.
And did you obtain prints from Joe Ryan and Christine Banfield?
Yes, I did.
And where and when did you obtain their prints?
I obtained them at the medical examiner's office on, I believe it was February the 28th.
And how did you obtain their prints?
I went to the medical examiner's office and I used ink and paper to collect the known prints.
And the known prints, did you obtain known prints from Brendan Banfield and Juliana Perez Magalhães?
Yes.
And where and when did you obtain their prints?
I obtained those at the Fairfax County Public Safety Headquarters on March the 2nd.
And how did you obtain their prints?
Also with ink and paper.
Did you compare the latent print in this case to the known prints of Christine Banfield, Juliana Perez Magalhães, Joseph Ryan, and Brendan Banfield?
Yes, I did.
And after comparing these items, did you draw any conclusions?
Yes, I did.
With regard to Christine Banfield and Juliana Perez Magalhães, what did you conclude?
That the single latent print in this case that I looked at for this was not from either of those hands.
And with regard to Joseph Ryan and Brendan Banfield, what did you conclude?
It was inconclusive to a single finger from each of those people.
And the the latent print that you were asked to compare to the known prints, where did that come from?
The item that I received is a CD with digital images on it. The digital images were titled knife and then number dash number. So this was, the one I used was knife 3-3.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions. Mr. Carroll is going to have some
All right,
questions.
cross-examination. Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gudakunst.
Good afternoon.
The known fingerprints that you received from my client was on March 2nd, 2024, correct?
I believe so.
I think that's what you just said.
Which, I don't remember if it was 24 or 23. I'd have to check the card.
I'm sorry, 23.
That makes more sense.
Okay. And you were there, my client was there, and he basically gave you access to his hands, and you took it down on a print card, correct?
More or less, yes,
So
that's correct.
the ink and the pad, and then you put it onto an actual print card or something that you work with?
Yes,
Okay. And so you had an opportunity to meet him at that time, correct?
yes, I did.
Okay. And was there any difficulty in getting that print from him?
No.
Okay. Now, specifically regarding the three, I guess, characterizations. I guess number one you said was a known match. What was the first?
For the conclusions, you mean?
Yes, yes.
So we have three conclusions. One of them is called an identification. Which is,
Identification, okay.
and the other is an exclusion, and then an inconclusive, which is neither of those.
Okay. And you indicated there's numerous reasons for that, correct?
Yes.
Now, is there other than the fact that your test was inconclusive, are there other, is there anything else to draw from that other than that particular determination is that it's inconclusive?
No.
Okay, so there's no inference one way or another?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you did fingerprint analysis on other items of investigatory material in this case, correct?
There were additional fingerprints that were submitted to me, yes.
Okay. And is it fair to say that if they seek a fingerprint match or the opportunity to see if it's been identified, they would do something to get the evidence to you in order to have the known print or the latent print?
I'm not following, I'm sorry.
So for example, if there was like a safe that they wanted to check fingerprints on, would you go to the crime scene lab and get something to see, something so that you could have a latent print? I'm just asking because you had said that you went to crime scene or you went to wherever.
I went to the medical examiner's office.
Okay, the medical examiner. If there was pieces of evidence where you were asked to get fingerprints for, would you go to the crime scene to get if in fact something was there at crime scene?
No, that would fall under someone else's responsibility.
Okay, so you wouldn't be the one who did that, just in terms of the medical examiner, you would go to them?
Correct, yeah, in this case, I went to collect the fingerprints from the
Okay.
decedents.
So it would be incumbent on the Fairfax County Police to find the latent, put the latent into a form in which you could work with, and then you would then analyze it to determine what it was you needed in order to identify it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was there ever anything done relating to any cell phones in this case?
I don't recall ever receiving any latents from a cell phone in this case.
Okay. Were you asked to do any sort of fingerprint examination on any laptops in this case?
No.
Okay. What about a gun safe? Were you asked to do that by anyone in forensic science?
No, not in this case.
Okay. Now, were you asked to do an analysis of prints on a letter that was
Objection.
received?
What's the objection?
Judge, this goes beyond the scope of direct and assumes facts that are not in evidence.
Overruled, go ahead.
Were you asked to examine a letter as part of an investigation that would have started in around June of 2025?
Yes, I was provided with some processed letters that did exhibit friction ridge marks.
Okay. And so there were marks on there, correct?
Yes.
And were you able to identify any of those marks, or were you waiting for further from the Fairfax County Police?
I was waiting for additional known exemplars from the people that are known to have touched the letter before I continued the examination.
Okay. And did you ever receive those things?
I did not.
Okay. And so is that investigatory request just not done?
I made it known that I needed the exemplars to continue several times. I was never
Okay.
scheduled to go and get them.
Now, you and I talked or had an opportunity to have a phone meeting sometime in November, I believe. Is that correct?
I don't remember if it was November, but I remember talking with you
Okay,
about.
and that was a follow-up for one that we were supposed to have in October that I was in a trial and I couldn't get
That
to.
sounds correct, yes.
Okay. When was the last time you heard from the detective from the Fairfax County Police regarding this particular item that needed to be examined prior to our meetings?
I reached out a couple of times. It was prior to your meetings. I don't recall the last one. I did speak with him afterwards as well.
Okay.
So after that time.
Would that have been in this year or in the last,
It would have been last year.
okay, would it have been around the October timeframe that we were talking?
No, because it would have been after I actually spoke with you, which
Okay.
was in November, we think.
And did anything else get done?
Not by me.
Were you provided anything by the Fairfax County Police?
I was not.
Okay. I don't have any further
All
questions.
right, redirect?
And the exemplars that you were waiting for before you continued any examination of this letter, you were waiting for those exemplars from Mr. Carroll's office staff, isn't that correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
And you've never been given them?
No.
Thank you.
All right, is this witness subject to recall? Nope, that's, okay. Is witness subject to recall?
No, Your Honor.
Is he subject to recall? Is a possibility, okay. Since you might be subject to recall, I just want to remind you not to discuss your testimony with anybody, and you're still under the rule for witnesses, okay, sir?
Okay.
All right, thank you. You're free to go for today, though. All right, would this be a good time for lunch? Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and take our lunch break then until 2 o'clock. Again, just don't do any outside research, and please don't discuss this case with anybody, okay? Thank you.